This special WA running podcast training series, The Road to Bunbury Lighthouse, is brought to you by BIX Nutrition Hydration, a local WA company developed by athletes for athletes. BIX Nutrition Hydration products deliver the perfect balance of carbohydrates, electrolytes, and micronutrients in a light, clean, natural taste, ideal for endurance training, racing, and recovery. Fuel your endurance with the newly released BIX Big 40 Energy Gel. Each gel delivers 40 grams of carbohydrates and 160 calories along with 200 milligrams of sodium. The caffeine option provides 75 milligrams of caffeine to keep you focused throughout your workouts, long runs, and races. BIX Nutrition Hydration. Keep showing up.
Hi everyone, and welcome to episode 002 of Warp's Road to Bunbury Lighthouse training series, brought to you by BIX Nutrition and Hydration. We're here Wednesday, 5th of March, and just 39 days to go at the time of recording. Today we catch up with our 4 athletes preparing for the Bunbury Three Waters Running Festival, Sunday, 13th of April 2025. Joining me on this special series is the man with a new pair of flash sunglasses to rival some other weapons we've seen on the road, Simon VO Spew Fam. How are you, mate?
I am good, mate. I am good. Yeah, I do have flashy sunglasses. Who would have thought that out of the two of us, I'd be the one that gets a sunglasses sponsorship and not you? So I am glad to get free sunnies. So thank you, Matt Damasi and the guys from Two New Sunglasses. Please DM me if you'd like a discount.
So we're not going to see any discount codes advertised on the episode today, Simon?
No, not today. And you never know. I might sneak some references in from time to time.
Very good. All right. Well, here with us, Simon, we've got Ashlee Ritson, or should we say the superior sister. How are you?
Fantastic. Thanks for the introduction, actually.
How did it feel to, get one up on your sister Kirby the other day?
Well, we both came third, technically. So I don't know if I beat her, really.
Well, did she come third, or was she fourth on gum time?
Well, yeah, it's still debatable, isn't it?
We still haven't decided.
It's her fault, actually, that I got into marathon running in the first place. So I got her into running in general. And then I went and watched her do her first marathon, and I thought that looked like heaps of fun. So it's her fault that I'm here.
Yeah, and now we're on a podcast talking about it.
Yeah.
We recently found out that you work at Kumbana Physiotherapy, a long-time supporter of the Three Waters Running Festival and sponsor of the 10K this year. When did this relationship start, and what does it mean for local businesses to get attached to an event like the Three Waters Running Festival?
Yeah, Kumbana Physio and Bunbury Runners Club, we've had a really good relationship for I don't even know how many years, quite a few. Wasn't expecting that question. And yeah, we've supported Three Waters and also the Women's Fun Run, which is held usually, or used to be July, now October every year. And yeah, it means so much for us. Bunbury is still a small town in a lot of ways. So it does mean a lot when all of these groups get together. And we love supporting the Runners Club, and they support us as well. So it's a really good relationship we've got with them.
And you've got a presentation night coming up on the 20th of March, is that correct?
Yes. So we normally do a little info night before the Three Waters and also before the Women's Fun Run. So I did the last one at the Women's Fun Run, and the topic was running bras. So fortunately for the Three Waters, it's a different topic. So it might, different crowd. And so, Sean will be doing most of the talking, which is good because he's much better at talking than running, as everyone will find out. But no, he's actually a good runner as well. So,
awesome.
The topic, I think, is running through the ages. So, how to keep on running through different stages of life, from adolescent through the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s plus, we'll go with.
Wow.
And just some, we like to keep it pretty fun, but also practical for people as well. So it should be a fun night. And it's after the one of the handicap 5K runs as well. So it'll be straight after that on the Thursday night.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, important to definitely give people some information, especially if they're even if they're considering running a race, just to keep them interested and get new people involved. Hannah, or as we like to call you, the Dean Menzies of Bunbury, based on your obsession with running the same route every day. How are you, and how is Ocean Drive looking this time of year?
Ocean Drive is really beautiful at the moment. I'm great, but not as beautiful as Ocean Drive for sure. Everything's very well. I'm checking it every day, and it's perfect.
Yeah, cool. And last time we chatted to you, I mean, you were obviously fresh coming out of a spell of fatigue. How have things been the last few weeks?
Oh, amazing, actually. Really picked up. I actually did go to the doctor today, and she confirmed that my iron's right back up. So that's in check. Interval sessions and tempos, I'm really able to I'm actually able to do them now. So that's fantastic. I feel like I can do more than just jog.
Yeah, awesome. Good stuff. Jackson, Steak Sando Lemon. Looks like I've seen some interesting photos on Strava the last couple of weeks, including a pair of new Pumas, if I'm not mistaken. How are they going, mate?
Yeah, the Puma DV83s, one of probably about 4 or 5 new pairs in the past couple of months. Glad to be back for episode number 2. The shoe rotation is going very well. I've got more pairs than I need for a week. Running's going well, and everything's going pretty good. So happy to be here.
Awesome. And how's the Bible going? Any updates?
No new restaurants in the Bible recently. I went for a steak sandwich on Wednesday, and it wasn't as good as Percy's wasn't as good as it normally is.
Right.
There's always plenty to come, and we might knock one on the head this weekend if we get a bit of an opportunity.
Nice. And of course, our very own Walter White, David Perich. How are you? How is sleep going? And are Lenny's fingers okay?
Yeah, I'm pretty good. Chris is referring to my son waking me up at 4 a.m. because he stuck his fingers in the sliding door as he was opening it, and he was just screaming from downstairs to come get him. Sleep's not too bad. It's worse for my wife, who goes downstairs and settles the baby. I just wake up early and deal with the kids in the morning. So not too bad. Getting enough.
Yeah, that's good. Good to hear. Well, I guess we saw a few photos of care packages you guys had received from BIX a couple of weeks back. We'll probably ask you to touch on how you've been using those in your training. But Dave, do you want to kick us off? Some big mileage the last couple of weeks. Take us through your training week and any key sessions you've done to date.
Yeah. What did I do? I did 128 Ks, which is by far like the biggest week I've done last week, and that was over 10 runs. Like, again, 4 of those were like 5K. Like, I basically added like a 5K run on a lot of the days, which I'll just do either as a break from work or with the baby in the pram in the afternoon, like when he has his nap time. So that adds a bunch of Ks. It was actually I didn't have a great week in terms of the workouts. I feel like I did a workout on early in the week on pretty heavy legs, and didn't go that well. And then I think I had something else come up on Thursday that just meant that I didn't like really get the most out of those sessions. But I had a 3-hour run on Saturday I've got some, how do you say it? Is it Tarkine?
Tarkine, yeah.
Tarkine. I got some autopilots, and I did 3 hours as the first run in them. Hadn't worn them at all. But they were super comfortable, and that went pretty well. Key workout, the one I'll probably talk about is like I did a 20 or 4 reps of 5Ks at marathon pace a couple of weeks back. which was like a bit of a logistical challenge. So I like woke up and I wanted to like practice with see what taking the carb mix like on the run would be like.
Mm-hmm.
So I like woke up, did some Ks with the pram, then hopped on the bike and rode to Lake Munga with my backpack and the carb mix, and like dropped it off. And then I wanted to do the last rep with the park run, and so like I had to like time it all out, and I had like a run sheet basically in the morning for how I'd have to do that. And I woke up and it felt really crap. Like I tried to have a bunch of carbs the day before, so I felt like gross and my legs were pretty sore. But I ended up doing that workout in like first rep was like 4:14, then 4:11, then 4:08, and then like 3:56, which is not my marathon goal pace, but I was feeling really good.
Is that the park run rep?
Yeah, that was the park run rep. So I managed to get the timing right. Oh, I also had to like finish a rep and then ride around to the park run to like get there in time. So it was a bit of a shambles, but I ended up, stoked with how that turned out. Probably did it on too much rest. I did like 5 minutes jog in between the reps, which maybe made it a bit too easy, but it was a good workout.
Yeah, nice.
A lot of confidence from that.
Very good. I just saw a message in the chat. Looks like you've got to run upstairs, mate, and go take something away.
That was from ages ago.
Okay. All right. Well, while we're on you, then, like last couple of weeks ago, you had a good run at Point Walter with Alex and Ordwin, but you took the pedal off in the last 4K. Like, how did it feel running at that pace for a sustained period of time?
Yeah, so that was supposed to be like I made up that my tempo pace is 4-minute Ks. I don't know if it is or not, but that was supposed to be 16 Ks at that 4-minute K mark. And I just didn't want to. I wasn't racing. I didn't want to cook myself for the week ahead. Like I knew I was going to have this big. I tried to do. Yeah, that was the week last week. So I tried to do a huge week last week for me. I probably could have pushed on and did it. I raced. Alex and I were kind of like pacing each other into the wind, like taking turns. Yep. I just copied Simon.
Yep.
I do base a lot of my times on either taking what Chris does and like artificially adjusting it down, or seeing what Simon's at and seeing whether I can beat that. I don't know. I was a little bit disappointed, not too much, because I hit 4:02 average pace, which is pretty good. But I thought it would be a little bit easier. Like I thought I would kind of find it hard, but kind of be able to hold that pace the whole
comfortably
time.
Hard, yeah.
Yeah. But I had done a few speed workouts that week, which I hadn't done many of in the block at all. So it's got some excuses in the bank about why it was a bit harder.
It's always good to have a few of those.
Yeah. So what is what's the confidence like? So you know that park run session where you did the 4x5Ks, that was a couple of weeks ago, and you sort of nailed that pretty well. And I'm sure you were feeling very, very confident then. Probably the last couple of workouts not going to plan as much. So what's the confidence levels now? 39 days to go.
I was speaking with Chris this week. It does feel like I haven't really pushed myself at all since Frio in November. Like I haven't raced anything at all. So it's hard to, like I've done a lot of work and I've been doing some workouts and stuff. So I've got some confidence. Keen for this weekend where I'm not racing, but I am doing a half marathon that Simon's also doing. And I think that will give me a really indication of whether 3 hours is possible, or how much under 3 hours, or how close to 3 hours I can go. I think the plan for that is to try and sneak under 125 on some relatively tired legs, and not completely cook myself for the following week, which I'd planned another big week of volume. So I think I'll find out a lot more after this weekend, really.
Yeah, for sure. And I think even if you're running, close to 130 Ks at the moment, I mean, even if you don't quite crack 125, on tired legs, there's a kind of a handicap there, which you kind of have to consider. So even if you landed at 125.30 or whatever, like it's not like the death knell for a sub 3. I think it's If anything, it's probably should give you a fair bit of confidence. But obviously if you go out there and you run 92 minutes, well, then you're probably not on the right track. But I think based on the numbers that Simon and I have been looking at, you're looking pretty solid. All right, Hannah, over to you. Look, as we said at the start, you're managing fatigue, but that sounds like we're on the up. Take us through your week. How have you been?
Yeah, good. So I think last time we spoke, I felt like I was pretty much back at a standard training week. So that gets me sort of just over 80 Ks, with the sort of the key sessions being a sort of a threshold earlier in the week, a tempo on a Saturday and a long run on a Sunday. So that's been my last week. I managed to tick all those things off, plus a little bit of trails as well. So I was able to get out to Wellington Dam on Sunday for my long run, did 26 Ks out there, and that felt great. Enjoyed my tempo run. Felt like, for me, particularly when I'm coming back from any kind of, something like a fatigue post-race or anything like that, I really don't look too deeply at pace. I just run to feel. Even last week I was running a lot more to feel, but then when I looked sort of post-run, I was like, oh yeah, that's actually pretty much back to where I would normally, or where I have previously sit for those kind of runs. So yeah, quite happy.
That's good news. And like the long run out in Wellington Dam, is that something you try to do frequently to try and build a bit of strength in the legs if it is reasonably hilly?
Yeah, I love the hills out there. It's nice for a bit of quiet time. I would say last year I trained for Transcend, so I was getting out there weekly. And then my back got a little bit sore, and it was something to do with the hills. It was really aggravating it. So this week was the first week since mid last year I've actually been brave enough to go out there. So it felt like a massive win for me.
Yeah, awesome. Well, I think, Simon, if we do lose our fifth member of the Transcend team, I think we just found it.
Yep, definitely.
I'm not so brave enough to try and train for it again now.
That bad. So your tempo session on the Saturday, so what is that looking like at the moment? So what's the breakdown in, I guess, how long it goes for and what are you targeting?
Sure. Obviously, the details of it change week to week. So, front run athletes, so they change it up week to week. But either a 30 or a 40 minutes of tempo with warm up, cool down either side. I think last week's was a 30-minute tempo, and I had 12 minutes at tempo with a bit of a break, and then I think there was some 30-minute sort of faster, 30-second faster efforts, maybe about 5 of those, and then another 12 minutes of tempo. So my tempo is moving back down towards about the 4-minute mark at the moment.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
That's great. And you ran a 124 and came second last year at Bunbury. Are we going to, do you think, the way things are trending, do you think we'll see you run quicker this year and maybe take one more step on the podium?
Well, now that Kat's not coming, I might have a chance. I think I've come second to her so many times at Bunbury, it's outrageous. But yeah, I mean, podium, you just never know with Bunbury. You don't know who's going. So that to me, that's fairly irrelevant. I think time-wise, I'm certainly, I think I could be quite comfortable with around that 125 minute, whether I dip below if I have a bad day, above. Yeah, that's probably mentally right now, and then within the next few weeks when we start fine-tuning a bit more, I might have a bit more of an idea.
Yeah, nice. Looking forward to hearing how that goes in our next episode. Just one more question for you, Hannah. Is there any tune-up races you've got planned over the next few weeks?
No, nothing. Just training. Yeah.
Yeah. And is that how you like to approach a race? You like to kind of just knuckle down on the training, or do you like to get out for a race every now and then?
No, not necessarily. I just don't know of anything worthwhile for me. And sometimes I do get a bit with races leading up. sometimes I don't like the way that they take away from the rhythm of the week. I am, I might enjoy running the same place every day, but I also like knowing, that I'm doing the same run on the same day of the week as well. So, change it up with a race and I start to get a bit anxious. So don't do that to myself.
Yeah, totally. No, I'm a bit like you, to be honest. I like to kind of just stick to the training and let it take its course. It's sometimes better that way.
Yeah.
Ash, you had a great run at Point Walter. You were there as well, and you absolutely smoked me from about 1.5 k's in. How did that feel? How was your what were your expectations going into that, and what were the results of it?
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed Point Walter. That was a fun race. I think my favourite part of that race was the start line, how we were just like lined up with portaloos either side.
Yeah.
It's just like the tunnel where you had to like run through. You didn't know if people were trying to like seed themselves near the front of the line or if they were waiting for the toilet. That was my favourite part of that race. But I was really happy actually with how that went because I think after Busso I was like just a bit disappointed. I think that I didn't go as fast as I was kind of hoping. So yeah, I don't really run off pace. I guess I'm pretty new to even having like a watch or anything like that. So I just sort of when you said, Chris, I think you said like, "Oh, you're running 4:10s," and I was like, "Yeah, I don't even know what 4:10 is." I was like, "I'm just running until I can't breathe anymore." That's usually how I approach races. It was a good race. I felt really good over the whole 16 Ks, and I think that's another thing with Busso. I reckon it was about 16 Ks where I just sort of fell in a bit of a heap, and I definitely couldn't go any faster, and I was working really hard to hold that. So, I was like, oh, was that just a bit of a mental thing, or was it fitness, or was it, a bit of an asthma thing? And so I think it was more just a bit of an asthma and fitness thing perhaps. So that was nice. It was quite, gave me a bit more confidence that I'm on the right track, I'm doing the right training, and I am getting a bit faster. And so, that was a nice race.
Yeah, awesome. I think, after I said, let's run 4:10s, or that maybe if that's what you might be running, you ended up running a 3:58 for the next kilometre. So I waved goodbye and just let you go. But have you been getting I think last time we spoke, you mentioned you wanted to try and get 4 runs in a week. Have you been getting those runs in and maybe go run us through your week last week?
Yeah, after our last chat, I came away with that knowing I had 2 things I had to work on, and one of them was I needed to do a 4th run per week, and then the other thing I had to do was to sample some local steak sandwiches for Jackson. I felt like I'd really let him down.
Good learnings.
Yeah, so I did. I straight out that weekend went to the Rose Hotel, and I can confirm that it's a good steak sandwich. So
good option.
Yeah,
good plug there
definitely.
For the Rose.
I was going to say, so
I appreciate the research.
No, I think it would be, whether it's a pre-race thing that people need to do on the Saturday, or if they're heading there for lunch on the Sunday, we might see a few people, I reckon, at the Rose for lunch. I managed to find this 1-hour window on a Friday. So I start and finish work pretty early on a Friday. So I've got sort of like 12:30 to 1:30. And I was like, that's it. That's my window to do this one extra run in the week. So it's usually pretty warm, but I do I think last Friday I did, just 1K intervals around the area. So got my 4th run in. Nice. And this has probably been my biggest week running for, a year and a half. So then on Saturday, I had to wait for Pete got the early training slot on Saturday, my husband. So he went and rode, and then he got back at about 9:30. So I went and did my long run at about 10 o'clock on Saturday, which again was pretty warm. But I'm hoping all of this heat training that we're all subjecting ourselves to, pays off. Because I've been watching all of these, elite runners in the Northern Hemisphere training on treadmills in their puffer jackets. And I'm like, we don't have to put on a T-shirt and we can have the same effect here. So very lucky. Saturday was a nice long slow sort of run. I got I think 30 Ks in on Saturday, and then Sunday was just like a coffee shop run with Otto, my oldest boy. He's pretty good at riding his bike downhill, so we just picked a coffee shop down the bottom of the hill to get to. And then, we were down south on the weekend for the long weekend, and we'd told Dad that we'd help him put up a shed, and it was only going to take, an hour or two. And I think we were out there for about 6 or 7 hours, like hanging off sheds that, were flying in the air. So I got like my strength workout in that day. And I was bashing overhead, like trying to bash the roof like into place for a while too. Yeah. So I got my strength workout in. And then I just did the hill reps up and down their driveway until I'd done about 30 minutes of that. And so that was my my Monday run. And then, of course, Wednesdays are locked in with Shelley. So she's the social media guru from the Runners Club. And she absolutely flogs me around the swamp on a Wednesday night. And
she says it's the other way around, that both Ashes flog her on a Wednesday, is what she tells us.
No, we did pick up another Ash, which is great because the other Ash, I think she's got about a 5-month-old baby, and so she's been joining us as well, which has been great. She's an amazing triathlete and runner. But no, I think there was one time where I passed Shelley and she I wouldn't say she was upset. I think she was just a bit more determined to flog me again the next time.
You also mentioned last episode you were thinking of doing Darlington Half. Is that still the plan?
Yes. Yeah, I've registered for Darlington Half. Again, I've got no plan or anything. I think I'll just go and see how fast I can run for that distance. Maybe I know it's a little bit hillier, but it would be nice to still do better than Bustleton. So that'd be the goal there.
Yeah, nice. Well, it'd be very. I mean, Dave, you've run that race before. Any tips for Ash?
Yeah, it is very hilly. Not very hilly. It's hilly in the first half. Like it's quite undulating, but you're trending upwards for the first half. And I cooked myself a bit, like trying to keep a high pace on that first half. You basically go up for 10Ks, turn around and come back. And my plan was to try and send it down the hill on the way back. But it was also on a gravel road. So it's
the Heritage Trail.
Yeah. My shoes were not appropriate for that road. I did not have any grip. So
I've run that trail after a few pints when we did the Heritage. So
of course,
I know the track.
Seasoned runner, no problems.
Yeah.
Very good, very good.
It was a lot of fun though. It is a fun race.
Yeah. So. Any updates on a goal time, Ash? I mean, we met with James Richardson, another runner at Point Walter there, and he's kind of targeting 3 hours. And I introduced both you and Dave to him. Do you think the pack is forming, and who's going to be the driver?
Yeah, no, the pack is definitely forming. And I after that day, I just told myself that's what I have to aim for now is sub 3, and I need to just give myself that bit of mental reassurance as well, because I find that if you tell yourself you're going to do something, there's more chance, or if you tell other people you're going to do it, there's more chance of achieving it. So yeah, that's my goal now.
Nice. You speak it out into the world, and then suddenly it will become a reality. Yeah.
With a lot of running in between, but
yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Are we hoping that James is the driver and that you guys just sit back for the first 30Ks, or what's the plan? Or, I mean, David, you're terrible at driving.
I get guilty. Oh, what? I get guilty that I'm not doing enough work, and I always put myself in a bad position in front of people. I never take the selfish act of just hanging on in the pack, even when I should. So, yeah, it'd be great to have a little pack to just hang together.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be a couple of others too. So it's just about finding out who those people are, and if anyone's listening and they want to run sub 3 at Bunbury, let us know. Get amongst us. Yeah. All right, Jackson. Some good mileage this week, mate, and a pretty good workout last weekend with a 2x6K at marathon pace. Looked like you were pushing 4:45s in the second rep, which to me suggests a finish time of 3 hours and 20 minutes, maybe a little bit beyond the 3:30 goal you'd originally have. Are you looking to adjust that?
Yeah, so it was actually 6 by 4 minutes on with 1.5 minute floats. So that was my Friday interval workout. And yeah, I did a 2K warm up, and then 6 by 4 minute. And I hadn't kind of like put the gas down for a little bit. So I deloaded the week previously, and I just wanted to kind of, I guess, see where I was at and really kind of feel the burn in the lungs again. So yeah, I did 6Ks pretty hard. I think the quickest pace I hit for that 4 minutes was like a 3:55. So yeah, pretty happy with where they came out last Friday.
Yeah, nice. And that long run you did on the weekend, was it 2 by 6 kilometers? Is that right?
Yeah, 2 by 7. So Sunday's long run was 32 Ks. So I did 15 Ks easy over Kings Park. So I got a little bit of elevation in there, and then 7 Ks at that 5 minute goal marathon pace, and then I did another 7 Ks I was trying to kind of just hit like 450s, just to kind of like push it a little bit harder. I felt good. I'm kind of paying the price for that now. But yeah, and yeah, had three 40-gram gels, three 40-gram BIX gels over that as well. I think for my next couple of long runs, I'll try and get a few more down and get the stomach more used to them. But yeah, loving the gels, and the grapefruit electrolyte tastes like white Monster Ultra. If anyone knows, they'll know. They'll know. But yeah, super grateful for Vlad sending us all that pack as well. Like I've never really used carb mix before. I've always been I prefer to kind of eat my carbs. Any excuse to kind of get some lollies down me. But yeah, just when I've been like time poor after work and stuff, like it sits so much better in your stomach, like just 30 grams of liquid, and getting your carbs that way than trying to like, put a banana and a few dates down and then run straight away. So yeah, experimenting with the carb mix a bit as well. I'll probably use that for the carb load as well, just to kind of reduce the food volume. Just from some learnings from Perth last time. But yeah, that's the key couple of workouts. 82 Ks for the week. Chasing the hills a little bit more as well. So we got 400 meters of elevation for 7 hours of trotting on the two legs.
Nice, very good. It's more than Matt Maguire's probably done for the last 6 months. Yeah, so touching on the BIX stuff, I guess, or the carb mix. I mean, I have used the BIX mix ahead of my marathon, so using it to fuel like my carb load the days previous, rather than just ingesting it through pizzas and pastas and all that kind of stuff. Definitely helpful. How about the rest of you guys? I mean, what are your approaches to carb loading while we're on the subject? Ash, maybe you want to start?
Yeah, so this is one thing that I don't have a lot of experience with, is with marathons and carb loading and nutrition and that sort of thing. So that's something that I'm really trying to work on in these next few weeks, and I sort of had a bit of a play around with last Saturday, because generally in ultras I'll use a little bit of gel and a little bit of a carb mix, that sort of thing. But I try and eat a lot of food as well. I find that just works better for me. So it's been quite an interesting transition to go to purely just using gels. So yeah, it's definitely something that I'm trying to work on, and just trying to work out how many I can get in. I think at Busso I had for the half marathon had 3 gels over the hour and a half sort of time. So if I can sort of keep up that for the marathon. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see or hear what everyone else's plans are for that as well.
For sure. Dave, do you want to touch on what you've been doing? I know you've been kind of hyper concentrating some like 500 ml flasks and taking them for a run with you, which I've started copying after you started doing it, and it's working out a treat. Do you want to run through that a bit?
Yeah, I kind of abandoned that a little bit. I just from like, if you're not thirsty enough to take take on the carbs, then it's kind of like you're missing out on the carbs. But yeah, I did try in that 4x5K marathon workout, I tried to have a pretty aggressive amount of carbs. So like maybe like 100 an hour, which was 2 gels and a bottle, like a popped up bottle of like concentrated BIX mix. It went fine, but I think I was having like 5 minutes of rest, basically like in a jog every little bit, so I could consume them then. So I was kind of cheating a little bit, I feel like, rather than having it actually at pace. Yeah, on all my long run, I've been smashing the carb mix. I may actually have to order some more, like, to get me through the block, because the thing that I find is if I fuel every run over 60 minutes, basically, just so I'm not so hungry afterwards, like more than anything. I just get, if I don't fuel before or even during on those runs, like I just get ravenous and then make bad food choices later in the day. So yeah, I've been having a lot of the carb mix, and then I've been trying some of the BIX gels on my runs, but mostly the dad mix, the custom mix, just from want to save those gels for the race.
Yeah, for
basically.
sure. So lollies are a pretty good substitute if you're running easy, right?
I just make some gels.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right.
Haven't moved over to the world of convenience.
It is convenient.
Yeah.
It's more convenient not to have to buy gels all the time.
They come straight to your door.
Nah, the BIX, the 40 gram BIX gel is pretty good though. Like, it is good just getting it in one whack. The other great thing about making your own gels is you can kind of sip it as you go along, so I don't have to have like 40 grams in one go.
Yeah,
which can be nice on those like easier runs.
Hannah, how about you? Any tips for us?
Well, I guess at the moment, obviously only training for the half. I'm not really taking on the volumes or the longer runs that you guys are doing. I did have that realisation when I was out at Wellington Dam on the weekend. I put my vest on with my 2 flasks, and I thought, why didn't I put some of the BIX mix in one of them? So next week or this weekend, if I get out there, I'll definitely do that and give it a go. The weekend before, I did a quick overnight trip down to Albany, and I did pack one of the BIX gels for my long run on the Sunday morning. It was all in a bit of a hurry, and I was a bit tired. I had a bit of a later night and I was a bit tired, and I was running feeling a bit dehydrated and average, and I threw that gel down really quickly without actually realising it was a caffeinated one. That hit of the caffeinated taste, and I was right in front of a group of people, and they were wondering what was going on with me. But I regularly have used the SIS and the ones with the 40 grams as well, and I found the BIX and the SIS to be almost identical in the texture and the and looking at the ingredients, practically identical, just the added caffeine on that one. So I guess with long runs, particularly if I'm heading out on the trails, I'll probably start chucking a bit of the mix in one of the flasks and seeing how that goes as well.
Yeah, nice. Simon, any of your experiences you wish to share with the team?
Yeah, I think just reflecting on the last Bunbury build last year, I think I did cheat in terms of my gel consumption, because I would always take it during the floats rather than the actual reps. So I think I probably paid the price of that during the actual Bunbury Marathon itself, where you try and consume a gel at 4:14 pace, and you either fuck it up because you're trying to open the packet, or it just doesn't sit right. So I don't think I did enough gut training of just consuming the amount of carbs, but also just getting used to just fiddling around with a gel packet running at that pace. So I think heading into Gold Coast, it's probably focusing a lot of that during the long runs in particular, or the tempo sessions on Saturday,
just getting used to the logistics of that a little bit. So that's probably my learning is I probably, due to a poor mindset, would always wuss out at doing it during the intensity parts of my runs. And I think you just kind of have to lean into it and just learn from the training runs that you would do with that consumption. So it does mean that the consumption and the expenses are a bit expensive getting those gels, but I think it's necessary, or else you find out on the day and the prep's poor.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, go on, Dave.
If someone was racing a half marathon, how many gels would you have?
If someone was racing the Secret Rocky Run this Sunday, I think my game plan would take possibly 2, and that's purely and it's probably towards the end of the run. So just getting used to, probably purely to get used to running and consuming a gel rather than needing it necessarily. And possibly the caffeinated one.
I think Simon's trying to throw you under the bus there, Dave.
I wouldn't have the caffeinated one later in the race. It wouldn't hit your system fast enough.
Yeah, I mean, it might be. I might take it a bit earlier just so that I can focus towards the last 5Ks.
Oh yeah,
so, yeah. That would be my game plan if I was racing.
Yeah,
you are racing though.
Yeah, like, just sharing knowledge. If someone else was racing this weekend.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Nothing salty about the relationship between you two right now. I was going to say, half marathons are a good opportunity to practice it because you are running slightly quicker, and obviously taking down maybe 2 gels during that time is good practice. But then also one of the tips that I've learned over the last little while is if I'm running in a whether it be in a session or in a race, and you're due half an hour's up and you're due to take another gel. If you're on a hill, I would suggest possibly waiting till you get to the flat or on the downhill, just because potentially the heart rate spike you get off of like trying to hold your breath and like consume a gel and do it while you're exerting effort uphill is can be potentially disastrous. So that's my piece of knowledge that I'll share with the team. Look, we've done a bit of. Thanks for sharing your training weeks, guys. We've done a bit of research on all of you. We've asked some of your the people you trust or the people you may no longer trust. A few trust to tell us a few things about you that maybe you weren't willing to share in the first episode, but now don't have a choice. Jackson, we'll start with you, mate. Look, you mentioned your unofficial coach is your friend Jack Beacock. He tells us. Jake. Sorry, Jake. He. Sorry, Jake.
He'd kill me if I didn't correct that.
He tells us that like after every run, you drink a liter of milk, like straight milk, no chalky milk, nothing, just white plain old milk. Can you explain that?
Yep, straight UHT skim milk. The $1.60 either Coles or Woolies home brand version. It's got the perfect ratio of carbs to protein, and it's watery. You can just get it down super easy. It's the best post long run recovery drink on the market, hands down.
I'm gonna have to try that this weekend. I reckon. I don't drink a lot of straight milk, so it could end badly. And the other thing Jake said to us was that you don't use the self-serve checkouts at the shops. Is there a reason why you don't trust the systems?
No, absolutely refuse. Ever since they've upped the security on them to the next level, and it just beeps at you 400 times. It's like, mate, I'm just trying to pay for one apple. Just let me. Nah. So I go to the humans. I don't know whether it's if I'm trying to fight the system and I just want to be part of the rebellion, or if I just refuse the fact that I'm paying for this, someone should scan it and bag it for me. But yeah, refuse to use them. Just absolutely hate self-serve checkout.
I think the underlying story here is that you're probably one of those guys that was putting through avocados as brown onions when those self-serve checkouts first came out. So
absolutely. Fleeced Woolworths for a dime. Now that I can't, well, that's what you get.
Yeah. And another thing that Jake put forward was that potentially you're a massive sandbagger, and that 330 is just like a smoke and mirrors.
Yeah, look, my my running has progressed a lot in the past kind of 6 months. Like I have gotten a lot fitter and I'm running a lot better and whatnot. But I've always seemed to do a little bit better over like shorter stuff. So and just how Perth went last October and thinking I was in 340 shape and running 351. Just kind of like the 459 pace feels comfortable. And I feel like I can hold that for a marathon. The 455, 450, just it's like I know I'm on tired legs and stuff like that, but it just seems like that notch just a little bit too far out of reach. But yeah, hopefully if all goes well on the day, I'll hold fives until 30, 35K and then maybe see where we go from there. But yeah, last year's little blow up hasn't put a lot of faith in me, and I think the boys read into my Strava a little bit too more intensely than I do. But yeah, I don't know. I don't want to say, oh yeah, I'll run 320 and then go out there and run 340. We'll see. We'll see what happens on the day.
Yeah, I mean,
Smart man.
yeah, very, very smart, and important not to go through halfway, too hot, because it'll cost you more time in the back half than you'll gain, in the first half. So, I mean, 351 on aiming for 340 is not a massive blow up, to be fair, Jackson. I mean, I've definitely heard of worse things. I think my first step time was I was aiming for 310 and ended up at a 319. So pretty similar in terms of time lost, but as a percentage yours is actually considerably less. So shouldn't be too concerned about that, mate. I think it's there's good things to come.
Yeah. Get to the start line in one piece, and I think last marathon block I took the carrots out a little bit too early. So this time around I'm going to keep them in there for the last 39 days before the race, and then hopefully they all come out ripe and raring to go on the 13th.
Awesome. Hannah, it was actually really hard to find any top secret stuff on you. So all we've got really is like nice things that have been written about you. So, we asked your coach, James Heggie, number 2 ticket holder of the WA Running Podcast, what he would say about you. And I'll say verbatim what it was. He says, she's a very resilient runner with a series of injuries back-to-back in quick succession a couple of years ago. She's never complained, just worked hard to come back stronger than ever, which included a 10K PB at Gold Coast in her first race back. So James is obviously a big fan of your work ethic, and I think Shelley Smith shared pretty similar sentiments with us. But a fellow podcaster now, Ashlee Ritson, has said that many people have witnessed your competitive edge, particularly when it comes to scavenger hunts. It seems like that's a very specific story that's waiting to be uncovered. Do you mind elaborating?
Wait, what? Scavenger
Maybe
hunt?
Ash needs to elaborate.
No one knows.
No one knows.
What scavenger hunt?
Maybe there was a few wines beforehand. Maybe Hannah
Probably.
doesn't remember.
Oh.
It's all right. Maybe we'll have to dredge up a few memories.
I don't even know that one's got me. If there's wines involved, then I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
I mean, the first half was really good, and it sounds like I need to find a better coach or some new mates.
I'm sorry for bringing it up.
So going back to Jay, I think because we spoke to a couple of people and we struggled. I think everyone just said the same thing. So just saying that you're very disciplined and you're quite determined and motivated. Where do you think that's come from?
Kind of sounds like I'm really boring, doesn't it?
Not at all.
No, I mean, look, I guess I've always just had my little goals in mind, and you know, you have plenty of hiccups in life, and if you can just keep your sight steady on where you're headed, it often takes a lot longer than you ever thought it would, and that's totally fine too. I think with running in particular, it's great to be resilient and determined, but it's also good to just be a bit more relaxed about it too. Yeah, I've had a difficult journey, and I have had to let go of a lot of things that I thought I wanted out of running, and the last few years I think I've become a very different runner, and strangely enough that's then aligned with some of my best results. So yeah, an interesting journey for me.
No, that's great. I mean, yeah, everyone's got a different way of getting there. It's just about, processing it, as you can, as best you can. So,
Absolutely, yeah.
Dave, I got a text from you in the week with a screenshot of some of my old running plans and like some of the internal, what I thought was internal to myself, the internal commentary that I'd attributed to certain workouts. How much deep diving are you doing?
Every once in a while, I'll be like, I don't want to do the workout that I've got planned. And I'm like, what did Chris do roughly around this time? And so I'll go and search on your plan. And that's it. That's the extent of it. Just looking for inspiration, really.
That's good.
Because I blocked out very boring workouts. So like doing the same exact thing 3 weeks in a row, just maybe like upping the intensity. And then sometimes I get to it and like, I don't want to do this again.
Yeah. How in terms, I mean, this is going off topic, but like in terms of doing the same workout every week for 4 weeks, like how do you think you'll do it? If you choose to do another marathon, will you do it differently next time?
I think it depends a little bit on context. Like I'm pretty time poor at the moment, and so I just like not really thinking about it too much. And just like in saying that, I do like look at the plan too much, but I do kind of enjoy just the structure of like knowing I've got this on Monday or Tuesday and this on Wednesday or Thursday. It's fine.
Yep.
Yeah, it's fine.
And I remember talking to you probably ages ago about what your build would look like for Bunbury, and I think you at the time you were saying, oh look, my Ks are probably going to top out at maybe 110 Ks a week, and here we are, you're doing 130. Like what is causing you to add 20 Ks to your weeks at the minute?
It's because you're a competitive person. That's why, David.
Yeah, that's part of it for sure. I think I thought it would be harder to squeeze things in than it has been. So when I did Bunbury last year, I trained a lot with you guys and doing like the 4:30 a.m. 5 o'clock runs. I haven't done any of those this time. Like I've just, and that's mostly because the boys are still waking up early. So all my runs have been during the day, like often during the middle of the day when it's really hot, or after the kids have gone to bed, which I never would have done before. But it's actually been a lot easier in some ways because I have been able to manage sleep a lot better. So I've just been feeling pretty good. And yeah, each time I got to the end of the week feeling pretty good, I was like, oh, I could probably bump up those weeks, and it still seems manageable logistically to fit it in. It does require like a lot of those, like 5K, 8K, like runs being chucked in during the workday or at the end of the day when one of the kids is bored. But so far this is probably the max though. Like last week was stretching the limits of my wife's tolerance and stuff like that.
I remember last pod we spoke about like just chasing mileage, and you said in the last block you chase mileage too much, and now you're like, oh yeah, 110 but doing 130. I don't know. We chasing mileage?
It's a big number. It feels number go up. The number goes up, and so that's good to see.
Strava graph looks great.
My attitude all along has been based on vibe, really. Like, am I feeling okay? Am I getting enough sleep? Am I enthusiastic about going running. And until this week, that's all been real high. Like, this week's been a bit down, but maybe that's because I'm not racing this weekend.
I think, to be honest, I think everyone gets to a point, especially when you're like 6 or 7 weeks out from the race. Like, everyone gets to a point in their marathon block or their half marathon block where things start to like grate on you a little bit, and you don't feel like going for that session, but you know that if you push through your week and you push through the next week, eventually you're going to be in your taper, right? And then it's not that far away. It seems I always have this experience about 6 weeks or 7 weeks out from a marathon where like I'm exhausted, but I know taper is around the corner, and once that first week of taper hits, suddenly you feel like 1,000% better. Yeah,
Amazing.
Yeah. And like I'll be out on runs, and I'll be like, oh, if I cut this run 4K short, I'll whack the 4Ks on the Friday, and then it's like, oh no, just get it done today. And it's just that internal battle of just like, I know I need to get it all done, and I know it's going to be beneficial, but it's just that constant head noise.
Yeah,
that's
sure.
like, am I tired or am I just training for a big event?
Yeah. It's tricky.
This has been the first week where I feel like the cumulative fatigue in my legs is like the easy runs have not felt easy. Like a lot of the runs when I was like ramping up their mileage, I just kind of go out and could go a lot faster on those easy runs because I was feeling great and had to like hold myself back. Whereas like the runs the past couple of days have been like really having to turn the legs over to get the run done. Yeah.
All right. We'll finish off with Ash then, I guess. Shelley Smith, the chief meme officer at the Bunbury Runners Club, she's given us a couple of little nuggets here. Now, you did mention earlier that with the Wednesday Swamp Sesh, there's a new Ash in town. Are you as competitive with other Ashleys as you are with your sisters?
Oh, it's a tough one. I think maybe I'm just competitive, no matter who I'm running next to. Look, I'm just going to say I'm just competitive there. Yeah, it doesn't matter who.
Yeah. It doesn't matter what name they are, who they are.
Blood
the Apex Ashlee.
Yeah. Good nickname.
I think even sometimes when I'm running with Otto and he's like 3.5 and I'm beating it and I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
Beating children in kids races.
Yeah.
We are very familiar with that.
Never let your kid win is my philosophy.
Oh, I don't.
Maybe I shouldn't be joining this 3-hour pack if you're this competitive. You'll get carried away.
250
Yeah. So you're a physio, and Shelley has said that Pilates is potentially one of your hidden secrets to your running, with many Pilates exercises called the Rito Special. Can you elaborate on this, please?
Look, I am probably the most unflexible person ever. Which I think helps with my running, because I can keep a really solid form because I don't move much. But I've done Pilates for, since I was a teenager. So when you're a kid and you had to do the sit and reach test as a fitness test, and that was the only one that I would ever be bad at, and used to frustrate me so much. And so then I started doing all this like stretching and Pilates, and I've still never ever gotten any better. I still can barely touch my toes, but I've done it. Yeah, like I say, since I was a teenager. Even I think I had all the VHS videos of home Pilates and all that sort of thing that I've did. I think I progressed to DVDs at some stage, and then since being a physio, we have a Pilates studio as well. So I've used that, or definitely pre and postnatal as well, being pregnant and then after the boys. So I do make up a lot of exercises as well. So, and most of them are for like running related, I guess, now as well. So and that's, everyone calls me Rido. That's my nickname. Mm-hmm. So there's quite a few few exercises at Kambana, which are just, it's a Rideau exercise. We don't know what it is, what it does, where it came from, but that's where it's from.
Maybe next year's seminar at the Bunbury Running Festival will have to be all about the Rideau special.
Yeah. You won't get any more flexible, but you know.
Might run faster.
Stiffer.
So do you think that, you know, like potentially, you know, not being able to run as many days a week as potentially some other people, like there's the Pilates obviously helps. It makes you quite strong. What do you think that brings to your running that, you know, other, I guess, forms of cross training might not bring?
Yeah, so I do believe that cross training is essential with running, whether it is some mobility or it's some strength work or it's Pilates or whatever it is that people are doing. And to be honest, all I'm doing at the moment is running, and I feel the effects of it. Like on Monday when I was hanging off a shed, I was like, oh, it would have been great if I had kept up all of those, you know, arm exercises that I did when I couldn't run. So I find that my strength training like fluctuates more. So I'm not running, I'm doing a heap of weights, a heap more Pilates. So I don't think, you know, you necessarily have to be doing it structured, you know, every single week, 2 sessions a week. But if it fluctuates throughout your yearly training cycle, I think that's where you tend to get those benefits.
Yeah, nice. Well, I think that's a good place to end the episode, guys. We've been talking for an hour, and I feel like it's been pretty free flowing. An absolute pleasure to chat to you all again. And we're getting bloody close to the 13th of April. I'm sure there's some nerves and some excitement there. Again, many thanks to BIX Nutrition and Hydration for supporting our athletes on the road to Bunbury Lighthouse. For those listening, remember to use code WARP for 20% off your next purchase of BIX products to support your endurance training needs. Ash, Jackson, Hannah, and David, we'll see you next time on the WA Running Podcast series, Road to Bunbury Lighthouse.
Thank you.
See you all then, guys.
Thanks, guys.